What is going on, RotoGrinders? Dean here. That's Dean 78904. That's my DFS handle. Normally, yes, RotoGrinders. We talk daily fantasy sports. Today, it's Card Stock After Lock. It's Tuesday night, 7:30, and it's digital. It's digital Card Stock After Lock because we're talking NBA Top Shot, the hottest thing since I don't know, sliced bread. I don't know hot sliced bread. I hear it was hot back in the day. That's what I'm told. NBA Top Shot. All the athletes, all the basketball players are talking about it. They're tweeting about it, and we're going to delve into it. We are live on YouTube. We have an eye on the chat right now. Do you want to say hello? What up, YouTube? Feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, ask some questions as far as Top Shot, and we're bringing the big guns. Dan Bach, he doesn't come on just any old show. DB, you're going to be talking some Top Shot with us. And we talked about it like on a show maybe 2 months ago or so, and I knew nothing about it. And I still I'm no expert by any means, but I've certainly learned that I've dabbled in the site, and theoretically I've made some money as well too. And I think we all have. It's kind of hard not to at this point if you were one of the early people playing on Top Shot or investing as far as the moments. But Dan, tell the people, give them the elevator pitch. For whatever reason you're tuning in, you have no clue what NBA Top Shot is. Where do you start? How do you describe what it is to somebody?
Yeah. For me, NBA Top Shot, when I first got into this, it was a pure, quick flip, make a few bucks, call it a day. This is a fad. Doesn't make any sense. I can watch these on YouTube. And all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe about 2 weeks in or a week and a half in, something clicked in my brain. And maybe it's because I kind of got into the cardboard a little bit. And I suddenly realized that Top Shot is actually, I think, a better version of sports cards. And what I mean by that is it's a way more efficient version of sports cards because the simple fact is the main key for Top Shot being a viable market is that there's demand for it. And I didn't know that there would be. I didn't know that the layman, the rubes like myself would be able to actually figure out that what a actual digital token is versus a digital sports card or an actual sports card. And once I got through in my skull that as long as other people find value in something, it can really become its own thing. And it's very clear that a lot of people find value here in NBA Top Shot. We've seen upwards of 100 and I think it's the last I saw 140 or $50 million in transactions in just the last couple of weeks. It's gone off the rails, and this is the momentum that this kind of industry needed. And when you consider the ease that you have in terms of transactions, I think that's why Top Shot in these digital collectibles can eventually surpass what we see in the current sports card market, because even though I'm relatively still kind of green in that, the one thing I found is grading cards sucks, shipping cards sucks, listing cards sucks, and all these things, you can do them like that with these digital moments. And I'm not saying cardboard is going to be a dinosaur, it's going to be extinct. But I really believe the fact that there is a blockchain application that has a real life corollary in sports cards makes me be a long-term believer that this is a market that is going to exist beyond our current bull market that exists now. Because I want to be very transparent. I don't think we're going to see everybody's account go up 3x every day like we've seen over the last couple of weeks. But I do believe the actual market itself makes sense. And the fact that we've got something like this where people can't even withdraw money. A lot of people can't withdraw money and they're still into it. I think they're finding it to be fun. And I'm extremely bullish on this.
Well, it's interesting you said about as far as drawing money, because our pre-show conversation, if I remember correctly, we actually have a real live person that I believe did draw money. Brennan, of course, you know him from the cardboard. And hey, plug your article too. Tell the people, obviously not a Top Shot thing, but the cardboard cocktails. Let them know about that. And can you confirm? Have you actually withdrawn money and made actual American dollars, efficiently, and it wasn't an issue?
Sure. Yeah. So just to touch on the cardboard stuff for a bit. I'm doing a series on RotoGrinders called Cardboard Calculus, a week in review. I have an Instagram Cardboard Calculus where I really dig into data in the industry and just kind of do cool data visualizations and pull out different things that have to do with the hobby and what we might be able to learn. So if that type of thing interests you, there's 3 of them out there right now. I did one solely dedicated on hoops in honor of hoops being the first pro product of the year. And so you can find that out there under sports cards on RotoGrinders. I can confirm that I had withdrew a couple of $1,000s last week. I will say that it took over 10 emails with support and over a month to get it done. So it was not a painless process, but real American dollars hit my bank account last week. And I am now, I have now done the full cycle of depositing on Dapper, on Top Shot. I bought and sold about 10 moments over the course of my time on the site. And then I completely sold out when I withdrew there for the money. So it is a viable product. It works from start to finish. I do expect there to be growing pains, just like with anything in the cardboard space as well. So if you're scared about not being able to withdraw, I don't think it's that they don't want you to. I think it's their focus, their resources on other things right now. And there's a long line ahead of you. That's what I've gathered from what I've talked to support. But Dapper's support was great. So I never felt once that I wasn't going to be able to get my money out. It just was not as clean and easy as most of us expect using PayPal or Zelle or whatever else it might be. So yeah, I can confirm that. I'm living proof of it.
You're big into the cardboard. I just want to confirm, you said you're done with it. Does that mean, and don't delve into it just yet, we'll have that conversation later on if that's the case. But are you like done in your head, in your brain? Are you just done? Are you like old man yelling at the cloud? Like, I want the paper. I want to be able to hold it. I had a fun time, but now I'm done. Like, is that it? As far as you know, in your head, are you no longer logging on an NBA Top Shots?
We'll dig into that further later. I'll say in briefly, I'm an extremely risk averse person. That's just my personality. So we'll get into why I think, NBA Top Shot is not for the risk averse. And also in trying to grow my Instagram and everything else like that, my cardboard business, I wanted to solely focus my time there. So it was really just a time thing. Now, I will say this, I'm learning, I'm watching all the YouTube videos. I'm spending time on the site, looking at the marketplace. If I happen to get in on a pack drop, I'll go ahead and get on a pack drop. I have enough money to spend on that. So I'm learning it because I will jump back in at some point. At this moment in time, though, it's not something I'm on.
Didn't mean to neglect you, Tambo. What's up, Tambo? Normally, of course, this time you guys are talking sports cards. Now we're talking Top Shot. What has been your general experience so far? Were you just quick to dive on in, and where are you at right now? As far as I think you're actually you're on the market trading something or buying something right now. Is that what you're talking about pre-show?
Oh yeah, where's the all-in gift, man? That's me. I got it all in. I'm going all in for sure. I'm with Dan on this one. To Brennan's point, depending on your risk, adversity, whatever you want to call it, that I'm the opposite. I have no worries about it. I'm playing with money that I can afford to lose. I think some people said it best in the beginning. There's guys that are buying into stuff that can lose that on one DFS slate. Trust me, lose all the time on these DFS slates. We're playing to win, of course, so that we're used to that. But for me, I see a lot of value in it. And I've, from the beginning, sort of was like Dan said, not just to make money. I still saw some sort of long-term vision. But then being someone who's in the cardboard space, who sells on eBay and who does all these factors, like, man, someone mentioned in the chat, it couldn't be more true. Clean transactions, no shipping cards, listing cards, going and digging them out, finding what the comps, quote unquote comps are. Don't even have to haggle. When I post it, there's not even an OBO for or best offer. You just post the moment up. And I think a lot of the NBA players talking about it, say it best. It's a collectible space. Like Dan talked about it already, about people or whatever you put a value on it. When I was a kid, there was Pogs, there was Pokemon cards, there was Magic the Gathering cards. There's all these things. They're not worth anything. It was literally a piece of paper thing. You bounce a thing on it and that's all of a sudden worth trading. It's whatever people will put value on, but now it's way cooler. And I want what some people have and others may want what I have, like a LeBron dunk. I want to get up to a LeBron S1 dunk. That's going to take a minute. I'm going to have to spin some things around, but that's sort of the value in it is that as well. So I'm all for it, man. I love it.
But the difference between some of those things real quick, Tambo, because you're right. Like I've gotten a lot of people saying it's just Beanie Babies Part 2. And, the difference for me is there's a marketplace for us to
Right.
trade and sell these things that literally takes seconds. Like back in the day, I mean, I'm Dean's the old guy. I'm the second old guy here. But back in the day, even on Beanie Babies, like how were you selling those things? That was like
Yeah.
early days of eBay or probably going to flea markets. Like this is a different world today than it was back then. Because who knows? Maybe if there was this technology we had today, maybe Beanie Babies would still exist. Probably not. But here's the difference. We actually can see the supply on these things. And I think that's a crucial thing with Top Shot is that you can see exactly how many of these moments are being minted. So therefore, you know how scarce or unscarce, I guess you could say, a particular thing is. And that's something that a lot of these other markets never really had. So I think it's poor form in my eyes to be comparing things like Beanie Babies that happened 25 years ago to something like NBA Top Shot, which has backing from one of the largest professional leagues in the world, has, you know, over multi-billion-dollar valuations with VC money behind it. Like there is just so much more momentum. And I don't think making comparisons to products that took place 2.5 decades ago is remotely fair.
I just want to respond because I think you're right. But my point would be that that's where the relatability becomes to why do these things have value versus someone saying, oh, it's just a clip you can watch. The value is I was pointing out like using Pogs, whoever mentions Beanie Babies, that's why they're going there because they're seeing, oh, X is worth Y and therefore this. So, but now, like you said, the marketplace for those things, like even relating it back to cardboard is eBay. And it's just not quite the same. Luckily, we have Sports Card Investor with tools where you can go find out some population counts and find out some situations depending on what cards you're looking at. But I think, Dan, the other aspect of the market piece is what everyone is so into right now. And that it combines this, stock day trader, the, crypto marketing, all these things into one where you can sort of do that and literally just sit on your computer all day on Discord with your friends or other, the community, getting after finding out some buys and then going and chasing it down, having fun with it. We just saw this Reddit thing a couple of weeks ago, as fun as that was to watch. And I know that you could relate to that. So, well, it came crashing down. It's not propped up the same way. Dan just mentioned it. The NBA has a licensing deal. It's been talked about with how much money they're going to make from this. It's like 1/3 of their merchandise sales, which is a lot, by the way, on the current average. And then again, everyone wants to hate on this beta thing because they're not in beta. They're making X amount of money, but they just raised for $2.5 billion. They have MMA and things like that ready to go on with Dapper. So I think that people aren't looking at it the right way. This is massive. And what the, future holds for me, just looking at it from this perspective, is fractional. We talk all the time in cardboard right now about fractional investing. You think these Luka or LeBron moments that are $1 million, nobody's going to have access. And I know people say, well, if you can't afford the packs, no one's good. The market's going to go away. No, that's not the case. They're going to have it so you can buy into that Luka or LeBron moment that you want to buy into and watch it go up as time goes on. And you're still able to get in, but it's better if you can get in for more, just like Bitcoin. So, I know an NFT is not the same non-fungible token, but just to show you guys how you can just get a piece and still be a part of something you want to be collecting. That's what's going to happen here. And I can see it from a mile away.
So one of the reasons why I'm bullish on it is because it's got a built-in market. Like I don't know anything about NFTs, and like the dog coin or Dogecoin, whatever it is, or the punks, that stuff is beyond me. And like I don't know what percentage of people have a built-in like I like punks or I like dog coin or Dogecoin, but there's a certain percentage of people that like sports. This is like almost like a way to have like a sports stock market in a sense. And not just that, the players getting into it is very important, and they make it cool. Like Josh Hart justifies the product by opening it up in a Vodka Zubac and Terrence Ross. And, but Dinwiddie, I don't know if you saw this, Dan. Dinwiddie was asking people to gift him. I mean, come on. Is there a certain, Dinwiddie is, I'm not here to tell people how to spend their money, but like, come on, Dinwiddie, you can buy these yourself if you really want it. But there was somebody else. Was it Ross? I can't remember who it was, but somebody gifted one of the players a card, a moment, and they flipped it like an hour later. It was amazing. That. Yeah. That was incredible.
He's given some stuff back since then. He did. I know he felt bad for sure, but you don't know, right? You're just going with the flow. And I think he almost completed the Cool Cats challenge on stream last night just from gifts that were coming in along the way. I was like, damn, that's pretty nice. Yeah. But like you said, they've got the money to spend on it. I just think they see it. And Terrence Ross had a nice interview today. I think a lot of people retweeted it and just said, it almost reminded me, like, again, between them, and I say them as in NBA players that might have a little bit of extra coin to flip around. There's not a lot of excitement there. That's why they might gamble when they get out on the golf course or certain things like that, because now they can have some fun with it. But here they can do it within their own thing, where yes, you could do it with trading cards, but it's just not as exciting. Josh Hart was watching one last night where a guy hit a 3 on him. What was last week? Someone opened a pack,
saw that,
and it was like him getting dunked on. It's like, there's nothing better than that. That was the one with Roham and those guys on the stream together. It's just, you can't ask for better marketing material, but that's just sort of the fun behind it as well.
Brennan, why do you not want in on this? This is how much fun we're having this conversation. You're like poo-pooing it. At least I'm speaking for you. But I guess, to tell us where you stand right now, currently, and what your concerns are, I suppose.
My concern is not with the product at all. I love the product. I think for a long time, it's going to be a mainstay. I actually don't think it has to compete with cardboard like most people. I think they're two very distinctly different experiences that I think you can enjoy. Sure, some money will go to one and not the other, but there's a ton of money going into cardboard too. So for anybody who thinks that this might wipe cardboard off the face of the earth, look at Golden getting an investment, Golden Auctions getting an investment from Kevin Durant and his group for $40 million. So there's money coming into both spaces. As far as Top Shot, the problem I have is I don't understand the valuations. And anytime I invest or spend my money on something, I have to understand why what I'm investing in is worth what it is. And, like Tambo said, we've got Sports Card Investor. We have many, many decades of cards. We kind of can understand that space. Why a Markelle Fultz half-court heave in a regular season in a game they lost would be worth $80. I can't figure out why it would be worth that, and so I can't invest it. And it goes all the way up to layups from Bam Adebayo that's $750. Now, here's the thing. I'm worried because, like we said, MMA is right around the corner. They've talked about backdating rookie moments. So I just think there's a lot of volatility in what the market's going to look like in 6 months to a year. And how does that impact current valuations, as well as if they do speed up the withdrawal process, what does that look like for money coming in and out? What if people are leaving it in only because they think they can't get it out? So like I said, I'm risk averse. There's a lot of unknowns. I like to make decisions based off what I know and what I understand. And currently right now, I don't understand it, which is why my money's out and I'm learning. If you're not quite ready to get in, what I would say is get an account, deposit $20, $50, $100, whatever you can afford, and just learn. It's not going to buy you a lot right now, but don't just completely ignore it because you don't understand it. Just spend the time to learn. And there will probably be a moment in time in the future where you can get back in. So that's my general thoughts on it.
I want to commend you, Brennan, because you're right on the money. Like I can't look at what you just said and say you're wrong, because I don't think you are. I think it's just a matter of, your risk tolerance per the person that you are, and kind of what you view as the floor and the ceiling of this thing. And the last thing to remember too is, this is still so new. This is something that's only existed for I guess it's been since last season, but in terms of the popularity and the scale that it's hit, it's only been like a month. So what's going to happen when, they basically, their blueprint that they had for what they wanted to do with this site probably been thrown out the window, because they probably scaled about a year and a half, 2 years faster than they ever would have expected. So I think they're in a really unique position where they can kind of still dictate what they want to do on this platform, which is somewhat scary, but it's also, they can adjust on the fly. They're not kind of married to any one thing. But I do think you make a great point about looking at what you're investing in now. And I think this is a good topic for us to get into, because I'm pretty convinced there's going to be 100,000 packs dropped here within the next week or two. Maybe 50K at a time, because they're prepping it. They've already said what the moments are going to be. There's going to be so much inventory hitting this marketplace, and that is absolutely going to change the dynamics of what things are selling for. And I think this is where the speculation that Tambo was talking about from the stock perspective is, how is that going to affect the valuation of these cards? It's not like cardboard where, you kind of know ahead of time, like, this is what we're going to have. we've got to decide, like, this is coming out. What is that going to do to the value of other cards? And for me personally, I've stuck very much to a script of season 1 rookies. And if I go to season 2, it's either rookies or a superstar. And that's it. Because if there's a bubble to pop, I think some of these scrubby players, some of these mid-range players in season 2, I think those are the prices that are going to drop when we get this next kind of flood of inventory in the market.
You see, I can wrap my head around the idea of a LeBron being $200,000, like, because it's LeBron. But when I look in the market, I see THJ, Tim Hardaway Jr. I just pulled up the marketplace. I know it's a rare 4 of 499, but if it's a rare of something that's not great, why do I want to pay $1,400 for Tim Hardaway Jr.? That, again, that's where my brain goes. And I agree with you. Give me the studs, give me the LeBron, give me the big names, give me the rookies. Tambo, or I don't know who wants to answer this question. First of all, if it's 50,000 as far as a pack drop, you still might not get a pack unless they change the price. Because I was in line the other day at 66,000 on a 5,000 pack drop.
It won't matter on the price. They had $1,000 packs, and the line before the scale was through the roof. It won't matter on the price.
What will it be though? They have to budge off $9 or no? It's always be $9. You think?
No.
In the short term, I think it will be.
It's possible, but there's just, it doesn't matter. That's the sort of the benefit, though, to Dan's point. They scaled it so fast. They have all the power in the world to do whatever they choose to do, and it doesn't matter. Packs are going for over $1,000 on eBay right now. Folks are auctioning off packs on eBay, and they're in auction for almost $1,000 American right now. So
wow.
Should have ordered those packs, Dean.
What do you think a fair market is? That a fair market value? Because like the LeBron is what 1,800, and there's all sorts of other stuff. We'll talk about it in a second. Actually, if you guys have a card, I certainly do, or a moment. I keep saying card that you sold that you regret. I feel like everybody's probably had one, and I sold the LeBron moment because it's my favorite player, in my mind, the greatest player of all time, and one of the coolest players we've seen all season long. Where he took that 3-pointer in the corner where he bet Dennis Schroeder mid shot that he was going to make it $100, and he turned around and celebrated. It's an incredible moment, and I sold it for like, I don't know, $250 or something like that. And like, it cost me nothing, like $9 pack, and all right, ROI. And now it's like 1,800, and regrets, but you can't be too upset. Did you guys have a similar, hey, maybe I shouldn't have sold X or Y?
Brennan?
Yeah.
So the first thing I bought, just going back to when I first got on here, I deposited $600, and the first thing I bought was the LeBron James Kobe dunk. I bought it for $127. Totally forgot about Top Shot. I bought the Luka playoff, like the base playoff game winner. I bought a couple of Jamal Murray bubble moments. Came back like a month later, and I had over 4x my money. And I said, wait, this can't be right. I mean, I have a corporate finance degree. I've been investing my own money for decades. I've never 4x my money in a 4 week period. And so I sold it all out, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put this into a cardboard LeBron. So I went and I bought a graded LeBron Finest. It's sitting on my shelf, and I'm really not worried about it. But I looked the other day at that moment, and is going for almost $30,000, I think. So I sold at $1,200. It is now sitting at $30,000. It hurts to say that, but it's the process I followed my entire life. I could not understand why that moment had went from $120 to $1,200 in a month span. And so I turned it into a holy grail card for myself, to have a LeBron James rookie card, LeBron, like numbered to 999. You can't be upset about that, no matter where the market's gone since then. So yeah, it was a little bittersweet there, but luckily I'm doing just fine. So it wasn't the kids' college fund or anything.
I'm guessing nobody can top that.
Certainly you can't top it. I can say though, like, I just think that one's, I get it, because it's, you were in really early access. You had one of the best moments now on the site. Pretty much, like I said, that's the number one moment everybody wants, I think. But, I haven't sold very much at all. I just let it sit and grow, got in early. I did what Dan said. One thing I took away from cardboard is not getting into too many of these randoms, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, the whole point of what's happened lately in cardboard, as Brennan can probably attest to, and this also makes a good buying opportunity for some modern right now, but people were collecting so many of these Jordan Pools, Kyle Guys, like all these random, and obviously better guys than that. Let's use Cam Reddish, Bol, all these dudes. I'm not saying they won't be something, but guess what? Now the LeBron prices have went like this. You could have have sold all of those at their highs, flipped them to LeBron's, and went with the rise. So I'm doing the same thing, and I've adapted it. But like, I sold my LaMelo for 1,000. And everyone's like, oh my God. But here's the deal. I got Halliburton's, I got Edwards, I got all these guys that were way cheaper than him at that time that have now all risen to 2K, that if I want to go sell those 3 other rookies, Wiseman, Halliburton, and Edwards, I can just go back to the LaMelo. So as long as you didn't leave your money in Dapper on that situation, you were probably okay. Where the mistakes were made, and I've made plenty myself, I actually gave up a Luka out of 15,000 S2 out of a pack for like $140 because it just was the going rate at that time. And now it's like 600-700. Again, I put the money to something. It might not have risen to that level. So there's those situations. But most cases, when you sold a big one and people are like, oh, I wish I had that back. What did you do with the money? Because that's where you it's just like in cardboard. And we've talked about this plenty of times in the show, Dean, with Will, is know why you're selling something. That's the problem, right? People are just selling something to get Dapper balance for what? You can't even take it out yet in most cases. There's lots of opportunities to make money. So if you're selling it, sell it for a reason. My reason for selling the LaMelo was I actually thought 1,000 was steep, right? At the time, I had no idea it was going to blow up as it did. But then I thought these other rookies were just too cheap. So why not diversify, get 2 or 3 of them that have big upside? And again, like I said, here we are. They're worth the same 3 for 1.
Do we think we've peaked now though, Tambo? Like, I mean, I think like there's plenty of stuff I could sell for a profit right now. Like I bought that LaMelo from you because I bought it for about 1,000 and it's about 5K right now. Is it worth me turning that 5K into something else, or do I wait for maybe a dip in the market and then go in? Because I don't want to say like it's efficient now, because I don't think it is, but this isn't, again, it's just not sustainable for everybody's balance to double or go up every single day. So I think that's a real question for kind of collectors now, is like, are we in a holding pattern until this next pack drop happens, or should we still be aggressive if we've got a Dapper balance? I think it's a good question.
I'm definitely 2 things about it. One, I like to keep a little Dapper balance on hand, not too much, because I just told you what happens if you leave it. You can miss out on these opportunities, but you also have to remember market corrections are a good thing. They're okay. We've had a couple of them recently, and then they bounce back. That's where you want to be buying the dip. So the situation with the LaMelo is extremely interesting, and I've even debated selling off those 3 rookies to go back because of the Master Challenge with the LaMelo big moment that's going to come out. Is that going to prop up the rookie with the badge there in the first moment and everything that's with it, even though it's like literally the worst moment on the site? There's other bad ones, but for such
terrible.
For such a feature moment, it's like literally barely an assist. Like it just works. And it's, so you've got that situation too, but I do think there's, reason to believe it could hold and even go up when the Master Challenge 1 is released, since so very few people will have it. That would make it almost like as an offset to it. So I've debated this strongly each day. I'm trying to make a decision here, what I want to do. I probably will sell and go back just based on that and just the way I think of it, because I do think, 1, he's the best rookie. That's no doubt in my mind. 2, I can do it right now and still have a decent floor on it around 5K and go up from there. And the money's the same. Will the other cards go up as much? Probably not. We're back to that situation of me holding 3 good rookies, but then, maybe I can get in. It depends. Maybe I can sell them for 6, get 5 by the Mellow, and get 1,000 out and do something else with it. So again, know why you're selling it. That's what it comes back to, and know what your feelings are. If you think this pack drop is going to be such a correction, sell it for 5, buy it when it goes down to 4, and then use the 1,000 somewhere else. You're right back in. But that's, you have to be right about your theory.
I just fired up Evaluate Top Market and I typed in both your names. You guys are both doing really well. I thought I was doing okay, but you guys have done.
Yeah, Devin, you can put up the screenshot. I don't know if Tambo's is up there, but you can kind of see where I'm at, and it's again, a lot of that was timed out. I got the rookies. I got all 3, Halliburton, Edwards, and LaMelo before the big pop, and also a Luka. I bought a Luka season 1 for $500, and that's just gone absolutely bonkers. So. I'm staring right at it, Dan. You bought it for, looks like $625, and currently the lowest ask is $42.50. Yeah, that's gonna make your balance look all right.
Do we know when they're gonna put rookie badges on there? It's been speculated. Do we know when that's gonna happen? Because that has to impact those moments, right?
And that's why I did it. I think it's happening relatively soon. I'd be surprised if it's not there in the next month.
How often are you guys refreshing? How often do you hit refresh on this button?
Normally in the more like in the first couple of weeks or whatever, I was like just baffled by it. So I would check it a little bit more often to be like, is this
Yeah.
real? But now I don't even care. I'm just all I'm doing is making moves and seeing if there's opportunities to shuffle things around. That's really what I'm looking at. And then, like I said, I'm trying to clear up some of the S2 stuff of guys that I was speculating on. I like, for example, I took some all-star game, reserves or possibilities where guys could get in where I thought maybe I would bump them. I have no doubt in my mind it would, but now I can sell them out and still make like 10, 20 bucks on them instead of what I was hoping to make is 100 to 200 on them. And now then flip them into something else that's even bigger, but I'll just eat that. And I'm saying eat that. It's a profit. I'm not even eating anything. I'm still profiting. I'm not making what I thought I could make, and I'll make it somewhere else with something bigger.
Can you look at the marketplace right now and see something like, well, that's a good buy? Because my brain is about like, oh, well, it was this, like this. I know it's about today in this moment. That's all that matters. And like, I think you were even talking about shopping before the show. We're kind of browsing. I have a hard time looking at anything and saying, well, that's a good price. I should be buying this right now. But that's probably the wrong mentality, correct?
You got a take on that, Brennan?
Honestly, so I think in a time like this where, Dan brought up a good point that we've got a pack drop coming. Anything that's still active is a concern, I think. Series 1, I think, is a great buy. I think if I go holistically, big picture here, when I jump back in, I'm going to be solely focused on the moment. And now maybe somebody on this call can tell me why a serial number 30 is more valuable than a serial number 300. We can get into that because that's one of the things I can't wrap my head around. But one of the first moments I bought after I cashed out, so I kept like $100 in and was messing around with it for a little while, was the Bam Adebayo from Series 1, where he grabs a rebound over LeBron and puts it back in. And the reason why I bought that was because, one, it's a finals moment. I mean, what do we love in sports? Postseason. So postseason action is always more exciting. We put more value on it. And two, LeBron's in the picture. He's grabbing a rebound over LeBron and putting it in. If you've followed the cardboard market, what do we like? We like the LeBron card where Kobe's in the background. We like the Kobe card where he's guarding Michael Jordan. So, I'm focused when I get back in, I'm going to be focused solely on the moments. So what I would do is I would go through the marketplace and find moments that, people are only focused solely on whether it be the circulation or the serial number. What if you found a Miles Bridges alley-oop that had LaMelo Ball throwing him the ball? Like that to me would be a valuable moment, right? It's a Miles Bridges. Yeah. Nobody'd probably be looking for that. But if LaMelo Ball's the one tossing it up to him, or a Zion getting it from Brandon Ingram, or AD getting it from LeBron. So in my opinion, the thing that people probably aren't focusing on enough right now is the actual moment itself. Mm-hmm. And so I would be looking for cool moments that, people will look back on that person's career and be like, I really want that moment. Obviously the LeBron turnaround 3 is an obvious one, but every good player has moments like that. And when they come out, I would grab those.
I completely agree. I think that's going to be when we hit more scale in terms of the amount of moments. That's what's going to matter. I think quality right now doesn't matter that much, but when we've got so many different things to choose from, I think it will. And I totally agree with you on the numbering of these things. Outside of a jersey number or, maybe top 5, I think it's borderline. I don't say worthless, but I don't really consider it all that much because it shouldn't move the needle. And man, that LeBron 3, like I'm moving all my season 2 or series 2s that aren't rookies, but I'm not moving that because I think that is like a top 5, like just badass moment on all of Top Shot when he basically shot a 3, didn't watch it go in and celebrated with his fans.
The no look 3.
That's going to live on long term, way beyond like, oh, there's 7,500 or 12,000 or whatever the mint is on it, because it is such a kick-ass moment.
When SportsCenter does the LeBron retirement, like a retirement reel, that's in the reel. Like that. That's in. That's just such a cool play. But my thing in the serial, and I feel like I'm probably regurgitating. I feel like somebody else said this, and Tambo, feel free to speak to it. In my head,
go ahead.
And I think maybe somebody else was explaining it from this perspective as well. But it feels like it's almost like their version of PSA grading, and the 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, whatever the single digits, are like 10s. and maybe this is a completely wrong way of looking at it, but that's the way somebody else kind of laid it out. Like if you're coming from the the cardboard world, is that the way you look at it, or you also think because if people think it has value, give me your thoughts.
Certainly there is value to it, definitely, but not as much as some think, and that's where my take is. So I think the top 10 matter, at least top 9, because they're single digit in any series. Of course, even the last 10 can matter because 2 reasons. One, the very last one typically has value. Even in the cardboard world, you'll see the first and last and jersey number. Same thing here. But the other thing is it's twofold. On a late number, like if I could say I'm in sales, I can pitch it. I've got one of the last 10 ever minted. You don't need to pitch it. It's a marketplace. But my point would be that it should sell pretty quick because you're going to be up against an expensive last number. And it's also nobody that's right now is buying is scrolling to the most expensive at the top, maybe to see if there's a cheaper lower serial number, but then they're going right to the bottom and saying, what's the cheapest? So if you're down there, there's some value in that. But if you can get one for like $10 more, here's the deal, right? This is the big one. If you can get like a number 200 at a 7,500 and it's cheap enough, the value in it is that when this thing goes up 5x and you want to sell and get out, more of the people at the back are going to be putting and setting the low price. You're able to put like $10 more if you really want to sell it right now. And someone is going to run to pay for that because it's about, again, you're not going to get the full value like a 1 to 10, but you're going to sell quicker at number 200 than number 7,400 at the low, just being 10, $20 more if you want to get out. That's my point, right? Because you want to sell it quick. Someone wants that low serial number. They're going to go and try and steal it. I don't think it holds as much value, especially in like the 7,500 plus moment items, unless you've got like a top 10.
Hey, I got one reel here. One question for Tambo, Brennan, even you, Dean. I want to hear your take. And this is more of an expensive series to go after, but there is this run it back series where they have old players. They have moments of guys like Dirk and Nash and Tony Parker, even Carmelo with the Knicks when he scored a record high points in Madison Square Garden. Am I crazy to think like these things are probably undervalued because like these players aren't playing anymore? And even though I guess technically they could mint more around these guys, there's no sure thing that that's going to happen. And I think that might be a spot where you can find value because I was looking at the Nash quite a bit the other day. It was like 5 or 6K, and now it's already up to 9K. And I really like Tony Parker's the guy that I'm looking at right now. He's I think like 5,600, 6K. Not a cheap price, but that seems like a spot where these guys are former players. It's going to be their only moment, their only runs of I think 250 or so. Man, that's a spot that I think is worth targeting.
Tambo?
Yeah, I agree 100%. The Durant one was brought up the other day at like 35 as like the steal of the year. And I think it's up from there now. I didn't look, but it's just the fact of, again, it was going to be his first moment, which they're considering on the site based on that. He was in an OKC jersey. He's hitting a cool 3. Everything about it is sick. And it's for that price. It seemed insane. But when you think about what it probably is going to be worth, a guy with his accolades and still looking to add on, don't forget Brooklyn can win the title this year and that'd be him winning it again. So, you could definitely see something bigger there with a guy like him. So I think there's a lot of upside. Some folks out there have talked about sort of the Asian market hopping in. I think, that makes things like Harden. Everyone says that Harden's a big deal over there. So I think that could be, if you could find something like that. Iverson, Shaq are about to drop. You can't tell me
when's that going to happen?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a lot of opportunity. So Dan makes a great point. I'm certainly with it. Value's value. I struggle. Tony Parker makes a lot of sense. It's just that I don't know if the 6K there is better than, like I said, buying another LaMelo right now. That's where you have to make your choices. And that's what makes it tougher to go and pull the trigger on that. Again, for somebody that's coming in that has mass amounts of money to blow though, buy them all. They're all valuable. And then you don't have to choose, right? That's sort of the goal we all have. So you saw our accounts, we're trying to build them up, but that's where you want to get to, where these decisions can become a little bit easier and not so much of, to Brennan's point, not only how is the value 80 on this moment over here, but when it's 5K, which one do I go with? What has the better upside? You're going to have to take some risk.
This is where I lose my mind. Anderson Varejao. I don't know why Anderson Varejao has one, but he's a running back. He's 1,100. Danny Granger's 1,200. Nick Hollison's 950. I totally get all the other ones, but those I don't really get it.
It's all that's all on print run. What is it, like 250 on those?
275, but it's 275 of like something that's not great. But yeah, I understand.
Tough.
Yeah, it's sort of a push pull.
I wouldn't spend on those, but that's why it's at that point, especially when you consider like these drops moving forward. These moments are going to have like 50K prints on them, and even the future run it backs, I doubt they're going to be like that low. They might just be 1,000 or they might be 4,000. Like we've seen a guy like LaMelo with a 4,000, mint carry a price up of 5K. Like I think these are the questions that Brennan brought up in the beginning that are really all speculative for everybody who's in it right now, but it makes a difference in terms of true value of these things.
But Dan, too, one other thing I think is important to remember that's, again, interesting aspect of it, why I love this and why it is more of a game. We always joke and talk about DraftKings themselves, the game within the game, and that's their motto. But that's sort of the thing here. What if there's a run it back challenge where you require the Granger or something like that, like something crazy off the wall that you're going to wish you bought them at 1,000 because you're going to need them. And there's enough people to play that game. You've already seen it with master challenges and things like that. There's still enough people to get involved in these games. So what if that becomes something? Then you're going to be like, damn, I could have spent 10K and had those 5 guys, and now they're 5K a piece, and you're out of luck.
It makes sense for them to do that because it's just going to stimulate more buying on the platform where they're getting 5% of the cut. Like that's
right.
But
it keeps all the moments in play, right? It keeps all these randoms. Why is the Will Barton $500? Because it's needed for the challenge, and that's what they do. And I don't know
what happens when the challenge is over, though.
Everyone that completes it gets the moment basically gifted to them because they.
What happens to Barton? Is what I'm saying. What does Barton's value plummet?
Well, it's tough to say because the when the master challenge is done, that's when the real decision will be. Right now, when the current AD challenge ends, it's still valuable because you probably still have to, piece things together, or again, you don't know when it's going to pop up next. That's what it comes down to.
If I was holding a Will Barton for whatever it is, the second I get that AD card, I'm selling it and getting whatever I can from it, because the likelihood that they're going to pick that Barton card again for another big thing is very unlikely. And that's the reason why the value is up on that. But it's smart of them as a business to kind of run it this way. Like, I get what they're doing. It makes a ton of sense, but and I think that's what makes it fun, is there's a lot of unknown to it. So, I'm
lost. I'm so lost. I'm on ComC right now. Anderson Varejão's National Treasures rookie patch auto is $75. You can have it right now for $75 on ComC. But a random Top Shot moment is going for $1,100, and
Top Shot moment.
His only Top Shot moment, but his most desired rookie card is $75. So my question is, why do so many people on the Top Shot platform care about Anderson Varejão, one of my favorite Cavs of all time? Let's be clear, I love Anderson Varejão. I can't get to how that group of people who are buying moments now all of a sudden appreciate Varejão for his floppy hair and his hustle plays, while the card market that has been around for decades believes his most desired rookie card is less than $100.
How many of those rookie cards are there? That's
5. It's out of 5. And then there's a PSA.
There's only 5 ever?
There's only 5. Yeah. Oh, there's only 5. This is where I get confused, because Anderson Varejão is a forgotten star in the NBA, but the NFT community has decided that he's worth $1,100. So this is where I got out, and I'm like, you know what? Until I can understand it, I'm not going to invest.
Poor Anderson Varejão is watching the show right now.
Until
Anderson
my
Varejão's like, why are they taking shots at us?
Man. No, these people are, I'm not saying they're the smartest or the sharpest in the world. It seems crazy, but they're ahead of the game. They're predicting and speculating. And I don't know the rules of like Kobe, or I don't think MJ is allowed, but what if the run it back series, Kobe would be a run it back? And what if they have a special moment? I'm just making this up. It could be somebody else. My point is, if you don't have it, you're going to be out because of what it's going to skyrocket to at that time. Everybody's out. So these folks that are already making free money basically right now, and I don't want to tout it as free money. That conversation has been had. I'm saying they obviously are early adopters that got in. You can see what the moments went
for.
That's
$10 million worth of Top Shot I saw was the highest, I think.
We
Right,
are.
so
We could talk about this all night, but we're up against the clock. I believe Tambo, you have a golf show to do for RG Premium members very shortly, and Devin's probably panicking. Producer Devin, who by the way has a very impressive portfolio as well, better than mine, much better than mine. It's super impressive, and he's done it with like a couple $100 or something like that. He's done well. In 30 seconds or less, Dan. I know it's hard to do, but we have to get out of here. Where's Top Shots in a year?
Where's Top Shot in a year?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in multiple sports, and it's going to be a real thing. And before I go, invite me back on the show next time so I can talk about my cardboard experience, including this guy.
Ooh,
one of my pride and joys.
Well, where do you see? Well, Tambo, you go next, and then Brennan will follow up as far as your speculation for the next year for Top Shot.
I'm the same as Dan. Obviously, other things are going to get involved. It's only going to get bigger. More and more people are going to get behind it. There's going to be commercials, right? The NBA makes a lot of money off this, as we said. It can outdo. Why I don't even want a jersey. When am I wearing a jersey? Like, I'm on these shows every day, enjoying myself doing content. I could wear a jersey on the show, but I could also have some pretty cool moments that I own. So for me, I'm going to just continue to buy those over a jersey. Does nothing for me. Plus, I have a bunch. So I think that's going to be big for them. They're going to promote this everywhere. They're going to put influencers behind it, which is all a good thing. It just builds the market up even more. That brings even more money into this place, and they'll just angle it around so there's ways that everybody can do it. Like I said, I think the big picture is the fractional investing long term and some of these bigger items where you're going to see that these things will be worth something huge eventually. Some of these, this $208,000 moment can easily be $1 million moment, or they wouldn't have spent the money on it, as long as things go as planned. Again, early speculation. Don't play with money that you can't lose. Treat it like a casino if you don't believe in it, but just throwing it in the trash, to me, is not a good idea. There's definitely an opportunity here and something big on the horizons.
Brennan, final thought?
Yeah, my final thought is, one, there's plenty of places in this world to make money in investing. So if you don't feel comfortable in this space, don't do it. You're not gonna, I don't think you'll be disappointed if you focus your time and energy somewhere where you feel comfortable and knowledgeable. That being said, I think you're going to see 90% of the current moments be valued less in 12 months. And then I think you're going to see the other 10% hold their value and potentially appreciate. And I think you're going to see a lot more good moments to invest in. And I think a lot of people are going to make money over the next 6 to 12 months in this. I personally believe that we're going to see the market flooded at some point in the next 12 months with moments, which is going to shift the money around quite a bit. So just be very thoughtful about where your money's at right now, and just make sure that you're confident in the moments you have. That's all I would say.
All right, we got to go. We got to stop it here. We could talk all night of this. A lot we didn't even get into. Thank you for those that participated in chat. Much appreciate that. Here, my bold prediction: that Dr. J, like underneath the basket, that's going to be a moment within a year. How about that? That's going to pop up. That's going to be a thing. Shaq when he, those are all going to be happening. Like Shaq when he breaks the basket, Jordan jumping from the 3-point line. Those are all going to be a thing at some point in my head. I don't know. I have no idea. But there you go. There's my bold prediction. For Dan, for Brennan, for Tambo, for Devin producing, thanks for watching. Join us next Tuesday for Card Stock After Lock. I was Dean. Thank you. We're out of here.